African woman, confident woman, a special woman, beautiful woman. I cannot deny African women, they strong. She's on fire. She's a blessing from above. A cultural woman. She is a royal woman. A loving and caring mother. Hey, Mama Africa. She did for Zambia. She did for Zimbabwe. She did for Senegal. Mama Africa. Black is beautiful. So beautiful, so adorable, you know. What a beauty to behold. Black is beautiful, black is beautiful, so adorable, you know. What a beauty to behold. African woman, confident woman, a special woman, beautiful woman. I'm loving her vibing. Beautiful woman, she is enticing. She is enticing. Strong African woman, hey, she is a full package. Very special woman, a special kind of body with a heaven's package. Liberia, Rwanda, Nigeria, Uganda, Africa, Mama Africa, Tanzania, Madagascar, Kenya, South Africa, Ethiopia, Namibia. We no forget Algeria, Ghana, Somalia, Angola. Black is beautiful, so beautiful, so adorable, you know. What a beauty to behold. Black is beautiful, black is beautiful, so adorable, you know. What a beauty to behold. African woman, confident woman, a special woman, beautiful woman. Stop. Liberia, Rwanda, Nigeria, Uganda, Africa, Mama Africa, Tanzania, Madagascar, Kenya, South Africa, Ethiopia, Namibia. We no forget Algeria, Ghana, Somalia, Angola. Black is beautiful, so beautiful, so adorable, you know. What a beauty to behold. Black is beautiful, black is beautiful, so adorable, you know. What a beauty to behold. African woman, confident woman, a special woman, beautiful woman. Jerry, stop mixing.
Yeah, hello. How you doing? We're about to play our jingle. So after the jingle, we get in the topic.
We speak on social injustice. Tell it to us all. Human rights abuses. Tell it to the nation. Rape and molestation. Tell it to us all.
Later. Oh, the jingle stopped. Why? All right, you know what? We're just going to get into the topic. Hello, my name is Grace Goa. Welcome to Split Talk, the Nine Generation. And on this platform, we are Lawani Women, and we come here, Lawani, Liberian Women Advocacy Network International. The movement is an organization. We come here every Sunday at 7 p.m. to talk about issues, social issues and issues that's within our community. And I am the president of Liberian Women Advocacy Network International. I am also the founder of Legacy Holding Foundation. Both organizations work in collaboration to do a lot of work in Liberia. If you follow our Facebook pages, Legacy Holding Foundation or Liberian Women Advocacy Network International, you will see some of the things that we do in Liberia. So tonight we'll be talking about we got three different topics that we're going to be talking about. So we will continue last week topic on the perception of the family life between a man, a woman, her husband, and wife. boyfriend or living boyfriend or girlfriend or domestic partners. And we'll also be talking about domestic violence, which is a lot in the diaspora among Liberians. We got at least two calls, almost three, but the other one, the woman could not substantiate what she wanted to say to me. So I didn't come out to, something, but we too many people calling us with domestic abuse in America, and we will give information. If you see on the screen here, you will see domestic violence nationwide hotline. This is the number that you will call if you're in a situation. They will help you. We'll go more deep into that. And our other topic, we'll be talking about etiquette. So these are the three topics we'll talk about today. We'll make it quick. We usually stay here for 1 hour, sometimes 1 hour, 30 minutes. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself here.
Good evening. My name is Etiquette, the Vice President for Liberian Women Advocacy Network International. I'm glad to be on this evening. Thanks to all of our viewers. As usual, thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sending us all your concerns and the things that you care about. And thanks for your interaction with us on the platform. We're glad to have you on our side.
We also appreciate the outside viewers. We appreciate you guys a lot because you guys are outside, but still, you let us know that when we don't come on or things that we discuss, you try to tell us what you like and what you don't like. So we appreciate all of you people who come in. We appreciate you more because we can interact with you on the platform. So there where we are. So last week we were talking about perception of the family life between a man and a wife, and we were saying that things that you will know that your marriage is working, because a lot of people having marital problems in their homes now, and domesticated problems, whereas you living with your spouse or your significant other. Most time after 3 years in Pennsylvania is, I think, 5 years, you become common law married people. So people are having problems in how do I determine that the relationship is working for me. So we need some things that will help you determine that a relationship is working for you. Or when you're not doing these things, you should try to incorporate these things into your relationship that will show that the relationship is actually working for you. Because at the end of the day, we are women advocates. We want for everybody to be happy and we want for things to work out for people. When the community is good, when everybody living some class of life is appreciated among everybody, means that everything's going well. People will excel in their life. They will succeed when the community is going good, especially it starts from the household. So all the things that we do that are happening in our community and happening in our country is because of lack of, discipline in a household between the man and his wife. That's why you see most people when they get government jobs or they work in the private sector, they exhibit these things in their workplace, because when at home they have no life there. So when you are in peace in your home and with your family, means that you can bring that peace to the community, and everybody will be able to succeed because the peace will be in the environment that you guys live in. So one of the things that will make you to know, or that will help you to know that things are working in your relationship, or if it's not there, that you can incorporate it in your relationship, is your fights are productive, not destructive. So if you're everybody in a fighting relationship, everybody know that people will make flower, some people will call us speech, that they call us people. I mean, I know once some people will call us speech, and some people will, hate each other for a moment, but the love is honor there, because if you didn't have love, you'll not even be living with that person in the first place. So, but when you're ready to make that flower and you're ready to fight, you're going to fight for it to be productive and not destructive. It doesn't mean when you're fighting, it means that you should try to fight in a way that you're telling me my flaws, but you're telling me it with love. I'm telling you what you did to me, I didn't like, but I'm telling you it with peace. I don't have to put you down to tell you it. I should tell you it in the right way. So at the end of the day, we all can learn from our mistakes and make the relationship better. If you want to come in, why are you laughing?
What are you talking about? When you're ready to fight, you should fight with love. If the person telling you
Productive. You should fight productive, and you should not fight destructive.
not
The
fight,
other thing is that anytime you
fight productive, meaning what? Because I don't know how productive a fight can be. A fight is a fight.
okay, so let's say a fight is not is a fight in the terms in America is not violent. You don't have to be physically.
No,
A
I'm
fight in the terms it means
talking
that
an argument like that. That
yeah.
I'm not talking about physical fight. I'm
Okay.
talking about if you guys are having a disagreement over something and y'all keep going at it. I mean, at that point in time, how can it be productive? So the productivity come after the fight or within the fight?
The productivity come when you can say what you have to say without disrespectfulness. You can say what you have to say. It have to be healthy and not in a way that the person will look feel that you're putting them down. So it's a learning process for all of us. I don't care whether you stay in the marriage for 40 years. It's a learning process. Every day you have to learn to be able to bring your fight to the table, but you have to bring your fight to the table in a way that you are allowing this person to understand you. What I mean fight means that the disagreement. Everybody will have different disagreement in marriages, but you have to have a disagreement for the marriage to be constructive. So I will disagree with you, but at the same time, I love you. So we'll make sure that our disagreement at the end of the day will be a peaceful one. You will understand where I'm coming from, and I will understand where you're coming from, and then we can move on. It's not a one-way street. Both of the partners have to do it. Come here again, dear.
So if we're having an argument, if we're having a disagreement about something, and I feel like it's something that we are having a disagreement about, we have had a disagreement about it like 10 other times. At that point in time, within that disagreement, if I cheat that person or if I give them a loose answer, then I'm not being productive in the fight.
At that point in time, when you're getting a loose answer, it means that you're being disrespectful in the fight and you are not listening. you love you are not listening to what the other person coming from, because at the end of the day, the person too got feelings. So when they're coming to you, I don't care how stupid it is or how stupid it look to you, you have to make sure you listening to what they say and listening to answer to what they're saying, not what they're saying to you in a way that you can tell them, no, I mean, they're not listening. That the way they're coming to you now, okay, I'm waiting when you finish. Let me, you go do it. Then you stop in your time. Yeah. And, in a way that I'm listening so I can see your grievances. And I want you to, when you are finished, when I see your grievances, I will acknowledge your grievances. And then I will tell you why my behavior is this way that causing you the grief. You see, so that's a constructive fight. It's not a destructive fight. But the power, we got to make power good. And because you vex us, and we all for that inside, man. Sometimes you vex, you say something to me, myself too, I say something back to you, you say something back to me. Sometimes if you really got conscience, it's nice, but wait now. After everybody go with the fight finish, maybe the man going up because he go take a drive you home. Then you sit down after your frustration going with them. But what all they think for? Because at the end of the day, you got together because they were in love in the first place. So what is the hate coming from? And that's why you need to pinpoint to find what can we do to change this? To not be talking at one another, but talking to one another. Because that first part is talking at one another. You're just talking, okay, I will say something to hear you. You don't mind you. You no get sense. Yeah, look at him there. You got no sense. And he said, look at her. You think you what? All that thing you're talking at each other. The power you're talking to one another, it means that you're coming to dissect the problem and find out what I can do to change my part of the whole story that's happening, and what this other person can do to change their part, so we can our fight can be constructed to the relationship. That next time when we come into each other, we'll come to each other better than the way we're coming now.
Yeah, but for all of that you said is right, and I agree with you. But for a fight, if I won't even say a fight, for a disagreement to be productive, the way you're saying that it's supposed to be productive, people are supposed to be talking to each other instead of talking at each other. They both people that are having a disagreement have to have common sense. If one person got common sense and the other person does not have common sense, meaning that we are having a disagreement about something, and I'm telling you something sensible, and your senses just seems not to be able to grab onto it, then that disagreement will never be productive, because you're being sensible and the other person is being unsensible. So at that point in time, there's no productivity there. What comes in is frustration and distress. And then some people will use loose words, some people will use profanity and all those kind of things, then some people will just keep it quiet and just don't say anything else to it again, so as to not to provoke any kind of other thing further. So both people have to have communication skills in a disagreement, and both people have to have common sense. I'm sorry if the other person just does not understand what you're saying, that disagreement is not going to be productive.
That is tit for tat.
None of
How can you? How can you? How can you make that person to understand what you're saying? What is your part in it? How can you make that person to understand what is the common ground that you say, you know what? I stand on my common ground. This is what I'm saying to you. I need you to stand on your common ground. I'm doing my part. So how can you stand on your common ground to allow them
So
to stand on their common ground?
having a disagreement, Grace, and we're looking at something, and the thing is a gray color. And I say, you say it's blue, and I say no, gray is black. And we're having a disagreement. And I know you saying it's blue. I'm saying it's black. It's black, and we know it's gray. At that point in time, we just gotta agree to disagree. But if they want, and the other person start telling you, say, "Well, I don't know why you always like to argue. I looking at the thing, and I saying the thing blue. Why you gotta tell me it gray? It's black?" Then at that point in time, all kinds of things will arise. And I mean that it might not have been. The example I gave might not be a good example, but what I'm saying is that most of the things that
No, you giving a good example, man. I laughing at Gina for darling. She said for that one when they read to that part, but they will fall down inside.
Yeah, but and the thing is that most of the disagreement that people have is over things that are repetitive. It's over the same things. It's over the same thing. So how long will you keep having a disagreement over the same thing for the other person to understand, and they just don't understand?
But as you come to, have you come to a point where you can listen?
It is on the other person. It is the other person's responsibility to make them understand. How do you make somebody to understand who does not want to understand?
Well, have you for yourself? Because in every misunderstanding, you have to try to look at the view of the person as well. What the person on a point of view. It doesn't have to always be about what you're saying because it green, they say it not green. Because like we're talking about color now, some people are working look at green as yellow. So what is
Color blind, but the color is the color. And you say blue, and I say green, and we know it white. At that point in time, we can say, okay, you see what you want to see. I see what I want to see. Let's move on. It's not that serious. But if that is your solution for the fight to be productive, right? Say, okay, Grace, you say a white, you say a green, I say a blue, and the truth is it's white. Say both of us we are color blind and we see that it's white. Let's just move on. It is not that serious. But if you tell the other person, say, okay, this is what you see, this is what I see, let's move on. The other person, no, I will not move on. You always like that. You always want to be right. So at that point, you just said, I say, you know what? You have to understand. It's not no, Chris. I agree with
but
that.
it's a two-way street, mama. Every disagreement is not caused by one person. It's a two-way street. So you have to come to a common ground.
Oh, there's
You
some
have to see my view of my point of view. That
agreement.
I see that thing yellow. If I give you my information, that if I give you the reason why I see this thing yellow, then you start to look at the reason why I see it yellow, and you seeing the thing green. I have to understand too and look at the reason why you seeing it green, and then we can come to a conclusion. But if the fire is just devil, other just fire, make flower and get fed, then Danny say, "Well, father inside, other father inside." Then what a relationship, grandma?
I don't understand when something is white and you see it is white. I will not even put a third color in there. Well, if it's white, you and myself looking at white thing, and you say no, it's not white, it's blue. So I should lie just to satisfy you and say it.
No, no. What I'm saying is that the way we're using colors in this, like we're using color to describe this, but in reality, is that anybody who brings something to the table in a relationship, you always have to be able to listen to the person where they come from with their part of frustration, with their part of anger and everything, and you have to understand in your little way. And then when you got to bring yourself to the table and tell them exactly how you look at it, the reason why you don't think they should be mad with you like that, and how you look at it, and you got to bring your point, and they got to understand it your way. Then at the end of the day, then you guys connected together and try to make peace and move on from there. But if you start to sweep it under the rug, okay, I veer, you veer, you say the thing blue, I say the thing green, we'll leave it at that. We're moving on. It right there, the anger is telling you, you keep that thing, you hold it against the person like me now, the whole matter. So I rather solve the I rather solve it and move on. If I don't solve it, I don't know how to move on. So that's where I, I we next yeah, we next I try I will have to bring you on the show. one of these days. But you know, you got to come to a compromise, viewer. In any relationship, you will not meet somebody. I don't care how you're alike. There's certain thing the person will do, you will be mad with them. How
But
to resolve that madness and that problem, or else you can't be together.
but
You
that
have to find a way.
is Grace. If the color is white and you say green, and I say, okay, since you see it as green, I see it as white. It's not that serious. Let's move on. That's resolution right there. That's compromise right there. But some people don't accept that. They will feel indifferent about it. The fact that some people will feel that you just cutting the matter short and you disregarding it, that they say it's green. But
So
that's
then as
compromise. If you say green, I say okay, why? Like me, and let me talk about myself. If I look at something and I see a plain old white, and I'm not the only person seeing it as white, but the fact is you and myself talking about it, and you say it green and I say it's white, and we can come to a conclusion that you seeing white, you seeing green, and I seeing white, and everybody else seeing white. I say, okay, Grace, it's not that serious. Let's move on for that. That it's just a color. People can be color blind. You know,
so, but the thing is that
and
if
no,
you
I will not move on from there. Why you always gotta see white? Why your own white you always gotta see it gotta be correct? Why my own green and it can't be green in your eye, it gotta be white in your eye. Then that provocation right there, then it means that you're trying to provoke the other person. You're not trying to be a productive person in the conversation or in the disagreement. You're
so
trying
what is the resolution?
at that point in time the person will just raise their own voice at you too.
So let me ask you, what is the resolution in that? If you want to move on and the person don't want to move on, it means that you have to settle it because you want to move on.
No,
No,
that,
you want to move on, and then you're not being fair. You want to move on, the person don't want to move on. You either try to sit down there and listen to why they don't want to move on, and then when they finish saying it and satisfied to move on, and you allow them to then you move on. But
so
it's not fair to say, okay, let's shut it down because I won't move on.
if the person want to take 3 hours, and you gotta take 3 hours for the person to be satisfied for your movement, so you should just waste your time. You telling me that I should put my own feelings under the rock just so
No,
somebody else want to move.
I'm telling you that can't words take away wrath. And I'm telling you that you can be
So you
constructive.
saying that by telling somebody say, oh Chris, you seeing green and I seeing white, it's not that serious, it's just colors. Both of us could be color blind. Let's move on for it. You saying that can't work? Those are not kind of words.
To the person said they don't want to move on. They never took
But
that word.
that's that
The,
issue.
the words that come to you, the words that you think is come to you, it's just a love.
No,
The
but
way
it can't words. It's can't word. And
no, it's kind words to you. It's not kind words to them.
what
And
about
that's the thing
that
that the mistake.
damn
You are
you, Chris?
the kind words to you. It's not kind words. Let put you an example showing love to one another. Some men they like their wife to touch them. They feel that I love. But the woman love you, but she just not into that touching thing. What is good for the man that he feel that you love him, that's what you need to do for him. So he can feel that love. If you're not doing the love that you think you can show and you still think you love him, then it means that you're not doing it for yourself, you're not doing it for him. If the man say, okay, I don't like women to hold my hand in the street, you said no, by all costs you won't hold hand in the street. He don't see it as love. He just feel that when you're walking together, it's okay for him. And you still try to hold a hand in the street, he doesn't see that as love. You have to play to what he see as love. He will appreciate that more. So what you see as kind words, take away wrath, the kind what you're saying to him, he doesn't see it as kind what he thinks that you're shutting him down at that point. So you now have to find a way to show you that I'm not shutting you down. I'm just trying to say we continue this thing. It's not good for our relationship. It's not healthy. So let's move on. I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to respect you at the same time, your viewpoint. But I would like for us to move on if you're okay with that. Or else you can say what you have to say for a while. And then when you're tired listening after the 3 hours, say, okay, we'll continue the topic tomorrow. But you don't want to say things that will shut the person down. And then, I mean, everybody got a place to play in a relationship. And a relationship is never 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes the thing where you will do 60, your partner doing it 40. A certain aspect in your life where you're hitting 80, your partner doing 30. But that's why I bring it together as one, because those things connect. It's like a puzzle. It connects together. It cannot be 50-50. That's why most times we always play tit for tat, because everybody wants 50-50. But it's not 50-50 at all. I know they talk here about people who can make me a drug get into Ziale too late.
Yeah, but At this point in time, it's just like the example we gave. I don't agree with your analysis, but I would just, for the sake of moving on, I would say okay.
Yeah. My analysis is typical. Y'all need to have fun, more productive. It means that listening to each other, understanding and respecting each other's viewpoints, and finding a common ground. Compromise. Everybody should come to a compromise so that y'all can strengthen the marriage. If you really need your marriage to work, you have to decide to want to do that. Once you have a relationship you're looking for, because let me tell you, I don't care where else you go, there will be some conflict that you will not be able to. It's always the case. Something that will not be, although maybe it will be different from where you came from, but there will be something that you will disagree on. How you can manage to turn your disagreement to agreement, that way you need to work on. But you have to find a common ground to be able to do that. So we're not going to stay up because, bro, when we stay now,
I
because
yeah,
it can be intense. We'll stay up for like 3 hours.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with your analysis. So at this point in time, we just we agree to disagree or whatever it is. We just
yeah. We agree to disagree. I agree with my analysis. That's why I'm saying it. And the
and
thing is that
analysis. So we,
my analysis, I help a lot of people marriages because you can't do tit for tat in marriage. It's not going to work. Somebody got to be a bigger person, and somebody got to be decide to be able to shut it down when in a proper way that the other person will not feel that you dismiss them. That's all it is. So we're moving on. The next one, you have to help each other to become successful. You have to help each other to become successful because one person's success is the both of your success. If we cannot be in a relationship as successful, and maybe my husband is not successful, the people will not look at it as a success. So, from a spouse is also the biggest advocate in helping you achieve your goal and will do whatever they can do to help you overcome obstacles that block your path for success. So when your wife is in maybe a group, you need to encourage her, push her in the best way you know that she will like you to push her. Now you don't have to push her in the way that you want to push her. No, you got to figure out how is it that my wife would like me to push her in this matter. What the kind of things that she like for me to the kind of strategy I will have to use to show her that I'm supporting her to be successful. Giving her the encouragement. Maybe she likes that. Maybe when you're in pillow talk, you're telling her in love that this is what I see. I think you can do this better, but you have to let her be in agreement because most of the time when you tell her this stuff, she might probably not be in agreement, but she will go and think about it, what you have told her, especially when you tell her it with love. So how can we help each other to be successful? That's the question for you.
yeah, we are supposed to be each other's cheerleaders. If you have a spouse that you see that his spouse is engaged in certain type of activities or certain type of work, it is on you to push that spouse in a way that is positive. First of all, in knowing that you have to sit with the person, you have to observe the things that they're doing. You have to be part of what they're doing in the sense that you are asking question about it, or you are giving your input about it, or you are observing it. Like we are on the show now, our spouses are supposed to be listening to us, the things that we talk, and the things that we talk, they're supposed to have an opinion about it. I listen to the show and you say so and so. Give us feedback. Basically, that's also a form of support.
Yeah,
Be your spouse's and biggest cheerleader, because at the end of the day, if your spouse becomes successful, the success is for both of you. It's not for one person.
yeah. And you have to be
It,
genuinely
person is
excited.
failure will reflect on both spouses.
Exactly. You have to be genuinely excited for your spouse. Most time people tend to be jealous when they see maybe their significant other doing something and maybe it bringing in more money or giving them more popularity or making them to be successful maybe in the community they live in or people kind of have more respect. And most of the time, if the people have respect for your husband, they will have respect for you. When they have respect for your wife, they will have respect for you. So it doesn't take away anything for you. So all you have to do is to make sure you are genuinely happy for them and excited and give them all the criticism with love and make sure your encouragement should be more than your criticism. Means that even when you want to criticize, you will criticize you said this way or you did this and you made $10,000. Maybe if you add this there, you could make another $15,000. Then we'll be rich and you're laughing for it. And the next thing coming to it is that you have to make one another laugh. That's exactly what I'm saying. You have to make one another laugh. Humor and laughter is very good for any relationship. The power you're in a relationship, you're just serious all day. it take away the fun and the laughter and maybe wanting to be intimate with one another. It takes it away. So you have to be able to be happy with the person, laugh with them, bring joy to them. It's very powerful and effective in a happy and healthy relationship.
But laughter is intimacy. Laughter is part of intimacy. Of all the things, I think when we had when we discussed this topic way back when we talk about intimacy, and we said that intimacy is a broad area. It involves a lot of things, and being able to laugh with your spouse or your significant other, that's all part of intimacy. It's not just going and lay down, and doing whatever you got to do. That is intimacy. Laughter is that too. Talking to each other is that. I mean, giggling and being childish with each other and being vulnerable with each other, that's all part of intimacy. But the problem we have is that most people cannot let themselves loose to that point because other people, the other spouse, have destroyed that process either some way, somewhere down the line, and the other spouse or the other person destroy the process when you trusted them as a spouse, and you went to them, you were talking about something, jovial thing, something that you thought was jovial. You can, like you said last week, we were talking, you say your partner is supposed to be your biggest gossip partner is supposed to be your husband or your wife. But if you got a talkative husband who you go gossip with and he carry everything outside, that trust is destroyed. That process is destroyed. They will never hear one word from you again. So it's the same with laughter. If somebody brings something to you that is jovial, or they think it's supposed to be funny, or something to bring humor between the two of you, just to get laughing and going. And like the Bible says, laughter is good medicine for the soul. And in that process, you interpreted whatever they did or whatever they said differently, and that person pull back, you can't blame that person because you destroy the process, because the person came to you, yeah, lovingly and openly and voluntarily, and you just destroy the process. So that's why most people don't laugh in relationship. Everybody just sit down and be serious, like myself, my face, they say my
So, 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 what can you do to actually change that? For like if you what you the example you made, if the person is talking, I got one of my friends. I know her husband talks a lot. She even can complain, saying, "Oh, everything she said to him." As soon as people do, "Oh, Sarah said this," or she said this about you. I don't know. He can just slip it on,
and I
or, or he can just be trying to be wicked.
yeah,
Sarah said that about you.
some are intentional. Some people are intentionally do it to embarrass their partners. They do that.
Yeah. So, but then you have to find a way around, especially when you want to stay in the marriage. You have to find a way around. Means that the way you can find around is that not to tell your husband certain things, although they're supposed to be your bigger gossip partner, but you say why they make got all the other quality, but I can't just talk to him, so you just leave that part off. I will not be able to talk to him. I would like to talk to him. Now you can go to counseling to figure that out, but if you cannot figure that out, you just don't have to say anything very, very, secret to him because you know that he will say that. But it's a hard situation.
Yeah, but
I
then, some partners will take it personal, especially if that particular thing you want to talk. If you got a cool girlfriend or you got a friend somewhere that you're on that level, you can talk and laugh and joke on that level. Then they tend to take it personal and say, "Oh, you laughing with your friends." Then when you laughing, I can see your teeth from one corner to the other corner. You can see all your 32. But when it comes to me, you don't say nothing to me. You don't laugh with me because you already destroyed the process. What can I say to you? I'm scared to tell you anything.
Yeah, because the thing is that friendship in friendship in a sexual relationship is different from just regular friendship. Most time men especially they don't understand that. The things that and you and somebody married or you're staying together, you're staying together all the time. So there is certain things, the people you laughing with, you probably will not see them. And my husband told me that. The people you laughing with, you will not see them every day, but the person you live with in the house, you see them every day. So my relationship with those people is not as crucial as my relationship with you. So I don't have to, the one or two times that I have to talk to them, it will be funny and we'll laugh. But I see you every day, we're communicating every day. So you don't have to try to start to add those two relationships together. Then you bring problem. So you will say, oh, she laughing with no. She will laugh with her friends because the friend is not domestically in the house with her all the time. You in the house with her, you will get the best of laugh, and you will get the best of fights. You will get the best of disagreement. Everything you will get will be a lot. So there's a way you have to separate that and start comparing love relationship, from agape love and filial. There's two separate kind of love, and those relationships are different. So people got to start doing that. So you're not the first person I mentioned. Somebody told me the same thing. Oh yeah, you see your friend and you laughing, but when I mean you can't laugh. No, I see my friend for the shower. I see them. We having fun. We laughing. When I would say like, oh, you might say can have the best of fun. At the same time, we can have the best of disagreement. We'll not have the best of fun all the time. So that would be one of the things. I see one Tony from a fake page here called I know Tony Agabo. I will recognize you a little bit because I think you acting foolish, saying you don't like to cook. How can you say we don't like to cook when you don't even know us? I would be happy and
I-
laughing when I eating KFC. How you will say we don't like to cook and you don't even know us?
But what I'm saying here that is relative to cooking.
So yeah, yeah. So you can tell that somebody who's in a fake page trying to just say something to somebody. I don't know. You can't
As
be talking.
somebody who has no understanding because you're not understanding the topic we're having. We're not talking about cooking here. Did we say anything about cooking here?
Yeah, bro. That we shouldn't just try to even.
Yeah, they're taking away time. People
They're
talking stuff.
taking, they're taking away time. And the thing is that most people in America don't like to cook. They got a lot of women that married. They don't like to cook. Their husbands still marry them. And some of y'all who can cook their hair, no man can marry you. So they got some women that like to cook. They will go buy food. The men will still marry them and stay with them 40 years. Some of y'all who like to cook, you can do everything. You're cleaning, you're packing. You can keep men. So what a difference. So it's just how you carry yourself. I don't know. You can be talking to people and me, but we are very good cooks.
But even if I
Seriously.
cook, why you gotta do
Well, I
it?
don't know what I know who you're talking to, but we'll move on. We're not even you can write anything else. We're not recognizing you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would say is that they listen more than they talk. It's vice versa. That's why I saying that's why you say, oh, great. So I'm just saying and then no. Sometimes it's just good to already listen. When people talking, you let them talk, 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 and you just listen to what they get to say and digest it. And maybe after some time you will try to understand where they're coming from, or you will try to know that maybe they're going through problems. Because people sometimes they complain. Most of these husbands in the past 35, some of them suffering from midlife crisis. I can remember I said that thing to the other guys at the masquerade party, and the men were laughing. Most of our husbands over 45 years old, they're suffering from midlife crisis. So some of them will just complain, complain, complain. Then you concern and say, my husband is look like something not right. So it's good to listen and dissect it. It has to be vice versa to the men. Have to also listen to the woman because sometimes she will get in that mood, she will want to talk. Especially the women, sometimes most women when they get into that menstrual period, it can sometimes other hormones can just kick. They can just be fair for everything. So it happens to some women. So then you as a good husband, you will be there to also listen to this woman and how she feels and stuff like that. So if vice versa. Want to say something about that?
Yeah, a lot of everybody going through some sort of crisis. The men are going through midlife crisis. The women are going through menopause. But the difference is that the men don't want you to understand that midlife crisis, and they don't want to understand you going through your own crisis, and it's not fair.
It's not fair, but and that's what we're seeing that both people we talked about that last week. Thank God we're coming finish with the topic because both people have to be able to compromise in everything because no two people they see, even people who were born from same father and mother grew up in the house, like my brother Kofi and me. We now they see sometimes I feel like slapping him so he can get to his head. So I show sometimes to when I do something, he feel like just saying, well, because he can, I mean, we're born with the grace care. He feel like doing but me, and we live in a house all our lives together. No two people are the same. See, we're in relationship where you come there, gotta understand for one another that no two people are the same. You need to try to get along and make your relationship work out. Before you got married, I sure you thought about being together for the rest of your life because nobody goes in on the altar and make all our vows and say, okay, yeah, I finished making a vow. After say, yeah, we divorce it, man. No, you made a vow to stay in a relationship. So, what can you do to actually stay in the relationship and make it work and you make it work together? So you have to also listen to one another and you never hesitate to ask for help. Do not hesitate to ask your spouse for help. It's very important. Some people will say that they will say, nobody will want you want to do anything. I will not shake. If she asks me for help, I will not help her. The woman will say they want he said he want eat, he want all that he can cook. If he asked me for the food, I will not give it to him. Then one time I was in a way back relationship. They say, excuse me for keeping speech, yeah. Where my food? But But if you keep in speech, why should I give you your food? You see, and all the little things, and sometimes when you look at it, it's not even necessary at all because life is too short. People can just go out tomorrow and something can happen to them. One time my husband called me and I wasn't answering because I was in a situation I was at the front something and I couldn't answer what I was doing. So he was talking in my ear, but I couldn't answer. I said, okay. And he couldn't hear me go. He said something to me. Then I didn't answer him. I waited. Then later on, I texted him. I said, I couldn't answer you in the situation. I said, but if I die today, will you want those words you said to me should be your last words? He felt so bad. He said, oh no, I thought something was wrong. And I thought, but you don't want that anchor to be with you when the person go and then something happened to them and you live your life regretting that, maybe I would have just made peace with the person. Because it's not that serious. It is really not that serious, especially with your spouse. All the other people can go to hell. With your spouse, it is not that serious. It really is not. So always learn to ask for help and make sure asking for help is by no means a sign of weakness. When you ask your spouse for advice or help, you are respecting and admitting fact that they have more experience in what you're asking them for. That's the reason why you're asking them. And you sure that even if you have experience in it, it will be fair and tell you what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong. So always ask for help. There's significant other. So when you're going to go run to other people to ask for help, and when you reach your people who in the hospital, then you don't know how to ask them for help. But it's better you ask the person in the hospital you for help first before you reach out to somebody else. Let them tell you no, and then you tell them, say, yeah, I asked you and you told me no, and lead them without guilt. Sister.
Well, you are a better person than I am, and I'm not ashamed to say that because I mean, the bottom line is that people need to be unselfish, and what we find is that in many relationships, people are selfish. The other person want you to pay more attention to them. They want you to do this for them, do that for them, be the world for them. They want you to be 100% for them, and they can't even be 10% for you. And that's my opinion. Is that that's the reason why relationships are the way they are, because at some point in time, the person who giving 100%, they get burned out, they get exhausted, and then they start to push back. And when they start to push back, a lot of tension, a lot of argument, a lot of disagreement, and then things end up falling apart or things just become stagnant and going nowhere. People need to know that it's not good to be selfish when you're in a relationship. Relationship is not about selfishness. It's not always about you. It's not always about you. You don't pick on every little thing somebody say and think that it's about you. The person says something, you think it's about you. The person mentions something, you think it's about you. It's always you. You just take yourself and insert yourself into everything that the person said. People will get burned out that way. So I mean, more power to you, my dear sister. You are a better woman than I am, and that's all I'm gonna say to that.
Yeah, but then you got to understand too, more power to you because I think you're a good person. And I'm just saying this because you have to see these signs to know your relationship is a perception of the man and wife. So these things that we're discussing, we want people to see these signs in the relationship and say, okay, if I don't have this in my relationship, how can I put it, how can I incorporate it in my relationship for the relationship to work? Or if it's too much that the relationship cannot work, it's time for me to move on and maybe have a different life. And because God can call you any day. Do you want to stay in a relationship where it's not working for you and you just don't know what to do? And then you say, okay, I will just stay here. And for the rest of your life, you want to do that? Or do you want to make that relationship work because you took vows? And if the person too, the other person, because it's not about you alone, the other person have to be willing to make it work, means that they're going to say, okay, there are certain things they men don't like, I'm not going to do. Or there are certain things that women don't like, I have to make sure I cut them off because I want this relationship to work. It's a two-way street effort. It's not one person will be suffering all the time doing it. It's not fair for one person to be always the flow member in the relationship that they have to be kicking around like football. Two people have to put the effort into the relationship for the relationship to work. So we're moving on to the last thing, which is to share the same financial goal. Share the same financial goal, people. Most time in the relationship, a lot of the time, and I tell you, I do receive calls. People will be asking me questions, and I bring forward to A and stuff like that. Most of the time, people think that when they're in a relationship, financially, are working, are doing my 9 to 5, my money for me. I know marriages are breaking up right now. One of my good friend marriages is going away because of financial goals. I'm making my money. I keep my money one side. You keep your money one side. Then we put the money in to pay the bill. Then everybody hold their money. That's a losing battle. Now, don't get me wrong. It worked for some people, but that relationship is other. I mean, there is no love in it. There is no love in there at all because you're supposed to have the same financial goal. You're supposed to make sure you're working and you make sure you're actively working. Keep yourself at all times in a position that you have to work so that you can be able to meet up with the bills and the things you have to do and then share the rest of the money and say, okay, at least every month you will get $200 off for your spending money and stuff like that. Those relationships last forever once they spend it there. Some people can survive it. Don't get me wrong. Some people can have their own money. You have your own money. I have my own money. But it's that two separate lives. You're roommate. You're like roommates. How you're going to exceed to do other things in your life, like major things to benefit your and your generation to come, if everybody got their own money? And I see a lot of relationship failing because of that. Sometimes the man working and he almost doing everything because our like when people notion is that the man should work, he should do everything. No, not in the day and age. It doesn't happen anymore. If you're working, you're supposed to bring something to the table. Now, if y'all agree for you to stay home for the men to work and take care of the house, it's okay. You can also do that because you're taking care of the children. That's another job. But if you're working full-time job and you got your money, the man got his own money, he working, and you decide the man will pay all the bill, you hold your own money, you put it in your hand, pam, pam. Then time come when they go up for bid, they fire the man, and he said, oh, me I able to pay, you need to go home and find another job. Oh. But the man see you working like, okay, you can't, how you will not get this for the short time I'm not working for? And that thing can be a real problem. Many people divorcing in the diaspora, African people, because of that. Not even unique to only Liberians, even other African nationalities. If you can come in.
Yeah, so I got two examples to give. I had two separate people like a couple of years back. One of them, her and her husband worked together, talking about working together and putting your finances together. They worked together, and he decided they came to a decision that all of the money, all of her money, they were going to bank it. And all of his money from his job were going to take care of all the responsibilities in the home and some extra stuff. And that was a successful decision and within 6 months time, within the period of 6 months, those people were able to bank $30,000. I said 1 year, I said 6 months. They were able to bank $30,000. And then there was another couple that I knew who the woman didn't even know how much the man was making at his job. She never saw his paycheck. He never discussed a paycheck with her when he got a job. He never told her, oh, I got a job. They pay me $100,000 a year or they pay me $10 an hour. She just never did know. He get paid. Whatever he wants to give, he will give it. Or let it $200 here or help you buy food. Or let it and $300 here or to buy things for the children. That relationship ended up falling apart. Because
Wow.
basically he knew everything about a woman's salary. He knew how much she made on her job, how when she got paid after they took out taxes and all the things, how what her net pay was. She just never did know anything about his pay.
That is so unfair.
She never saw his bank account. She never did know how much he was making annually. But and he just felt like it was okay. Or I will give you $100, $100, go pay the light, go pay against the light. Or that $300. He just felt like he just felt like he could give whatever he wanted to give. That relationship ended up going sour. And
It's not going to last.
so you can decide to work together and you can work together responsibly with your finances and things will, blossom, or everybody can just decide and hold their own thing. And when push come to shove or when that time come, everybody will just go their separate way because
But
finance
yeah,
causes a lot of divorce.
yeah, and I would advise anybody, I'm not an expert, but I would just tell anybody, why would you even want to be in such a relationship? Because you have to be working together to be able to plan retirement. It has to be together. So even the greatest of relationship, they say, can end up in breakup due to financial differences and concern. Because if I'm not out working for my money, you know whom I'm working for. Then you won't work for your money. You say, no, I shouldn't know whom you're working for. It means that I'm being used. I'm just being honest here. I will feel that I'm being used. Like I know that you just giving me, the stopping. Oh yeah, y'all need this. I will just give you, but I don't know how much you're making. Why are you taking that information away from me? I suspect you for cheating. I will suspect you for lying to me. I will suspect you for so many other things. Then the woman or the man, he start going all around. There's something going on. I would suspect that you even building a whole mansion and I don't even know it, but I would suspect you trying to break up with me at the end of the day when you accomplish what you want to do in your life. Means
Or
that you
maybe
taking
a whole new family somewhere else that you got to support too.
that you gotta support. So I was suspecting for all, but they say both of you should be on the same page when it comes to your financial goals, such as how much money you need to live and be happy and stress free of life, and how much you need to save for rainy day and retirement purposes. So there is no way two people can be together. Everybody just got their own money. It doesn't make sense. Then mean that since they mean that you're roommates. That's what I mean. You guys are roommates. So this is the end of this topic. We finish with the perception of the marriage left between the perception of the family, the marriage left between a man and a woman. Thank God we finish with the topic here because it's not easy. It is not easy. But we just want to come up now to tell you about the domestic violence will be the end. We want to tell you about what are the three most common type of no. I'm missing it up. Okay, we'll talk about domestic violence. So I would say one in every four women are experienced domestic violence in their household. Most time people think that domestic violence, only physical violence when a man slap you, slapping back at domestic. No, domestic violence can be psychological, it can be emotional, it can be physical, and it can be intimidating. When somebody start to intimidate you and you start to fear for your life, that's domestic violence. So one in every four women experience domestic violence. Two out of every three children are exposed to the trauma of domestic violence. It is wrong for you to put children in that kind of stuff. We are big receiving calls. Me and Fred were on the line the other day talking about the scene domestic violence or somebody else that going through domestic violence in the Liberian community. We have a case right now in a marriage, and the marriage is going through the about to be dissolved because of domestic violence. And we are fighting with that case right now. Another case came to us because of domestic violence. Other people got gossip shows. People call them to talk to them about how they're being abused. Sometimes the people take it, oh yeah, they be laughing at it like gossip. No, this is not gossip. This is not gossip. Most of the talk show hosts, and they are called to talk about. People call them to tell them that they're going through domestic violence. Some of the people's lives are being threatened. Some people are in real dire situation, and we're taking it serious in the Liberian community. Domestic violence is going on a daily basis, and most people don't know how to go about it or what to do. And most time you see our people, because of the way we were brought up, people will say, oh no, you get just be there or what you would do. My dear, how are you? I will just be there and what you would do. So right on the screen, as you will see it running through, we have the National Domestic Hotline. Means that in any state you can call that line. And you're going through domestic violence in your home and your life is being threatened, or they may be abusing you and you have fear for your life because anything can happen at any day. You need to call that number. It will regulate you to the state that you're in. It will send you the number. Will go to the state that you're in. Because the people, the customer service will find the state that you're in. It will transfer you to that state that you're in. The people will ask you some questions. All you can do is tell them what you're going through. Sometimes they will see whether it's a severe case. They will take you out of that situation right away. They have a lot of help that they can give. The people, because people will tell me that, oh, the people say they can just be talking, they will get help. They will just send you to that women's shelter. No. You might probably go to the women's shelter or you might not go to the women's shelter. But if you go to the women's shelter, it will be for a short while. After you are there, the people will look into your case. They will find a place for you. They will put you on housing. Now they got some new housing even going on that boarding pass. They will put you on housing, maybe Section 8 or free housing for a year. And then later on, they will transition you into a low-cost housing that you can be able to pay that amount to stay in that house. They will be able to train you or send you to any training or program that you will be able to work and make your own money. So you don't have to, especially people in that in Liberia, I feel sorry for people going through that. In America here, it can I just can't comprehend how come people will sit down and be abused and don't step out, because you can always make it. When you step out, something can change for you. People will be there to help you if you want to come in.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the domestic violence hotline is available, and if anybody want to get it, even if we didn't put it across the street, all you gotta do is Google it, and it will show up, and then you call them, and it will reroute you to whatever state you're in. They will redirect the call to the appropriate person so that you can speak with them. And there are a lot of resources in America, and that can be given to you. A lot of help, a lot of security resources, especially if you're in a emergency situation or a very dangerous situation that is life threatening and all of that. But you talk about domestic violence, and most of us, when people say domestic violence, we think it only has to do with a man hitting you, or it is not so. It is not only when somebody hits you, then it's domestic violence. So domestic means it's within the home. Anything that is going on within the home that is not right, that is abusive, that's domestic violence. It doesn't have to be hidden, because some people go through domestic violence and they haven't been hit physically, but they're going through it. Some of it is verbal, some of it is emotional, some of it is mental, economic, all of that. Just like we just talked about right now, where the man withholding his paycheck and giving what he wants to do, that's a form of domestic violence. You
Of
use
course.
That's a form of domestic violence. And as you were speaking, my mind went back to the show we had. I think we had our show last that we were talking about. I only remember the second half of the show, which was diversion. I forgot what the first part of it was. It was a two-part on topic. But we were talking, and I think at that time we had a male guest on the show. And we talked about a situation where the woman, she was married to the man. The man had money, but the men, they didn't have the functioning mechanism when it comes to the romance and stuff like that. He wasn't functional, and she felt like she needed to step out of the relationship because he wasn't functional. When it came to the bedroom stuff, he was not functional enough. That is a form of domestic violence. That was something that was taking place in the home. And as you were speaking, my mind went to it. I don't know why, but that's also a form of domestic violence.
Yeah.
The man money, but she didn't want. She felt like he was not satisfied. So she was stepping out of the home. She was basically using the man. That was domestic violence too. Anything that is happening within your home, and let me put a disclaimer out there: we don't have no license. We are not experts. We're speaking from our own experiences. We are speaking from the things that people explain to us, and we are speaking to based on the research that we do when we're about to speak. So we ain't no experts. So anything we say, if you want to follow up, go and do your own research and inform yourself more. But anything that is happening, that is taking place within the home, that is not right, that is in an abusive nature or is in an extreme nature, is domestic violence. Domestic violence is not only when somebody got to slap you, when they got to kick you, or when they got to hit you physically. That is not just it. Because most people just said, oh, well, he don't beat me, or yeah, but you in the home every day, he cussing you for breakfast, tea, and dinner. That's domestic violence. It's within the home. It's a domestic situation. So
And verbal abuse.
yeah, it's abuse. Anything that is domesticated and but surrounds abuse is domestic violence. And people just need to pay attention. And like you said, a lot of us in the diaspora, men and women alike, going through a lot of domestic abuse situation, and we just have to speak out to make it right.
And a lot of times when the abuse gets verbal, then after it gets verbal, it gets emotional. Then after it gets emotional, it gets psychological. After it gets psychological, it gets economical. Means that then they start to take the money away if they were giving you money. Then after that, then it start to get physical. Sometimes it can take another form. It can start to get economical, then it start to get physical, then it start to get, but it has to, it's follow those trends. And an abuser always seek to obtain sense of control and power of the other person. So the abuser could be a man, it could be the man in the home, and the abuser can also be the woman in the home. This is not unique to men. It's just that women go through abuse a lot more than men. But some men are being abused. The form of violence can include physical, sexual, emotional, economical, or even psychological access. While the majority of these affect women, it also happened to men. Anyone, they happen to anyone regardless of your race or where you come from. It's not only Liberians that go through the thing. The reason why we talk about it with Liberians because we are Liberians and we're trying to bring awareness to our community people in the diaspora and also in Liberia. In Liberia, you can also choose to walk away because in Liberia don't have all the help that the people got here. But at least you can go to your family member house and you can stay there and tell them, say, you know what, I've been abused. I need you to help me. Maybe I can stay here for some time and then you can leave. And it's also good to take stands against domestic violence. Except you take stands, that's the only way it's going to end. If you don't stand against it, it's not going to end. The person continue to do it to you. You have to take your stance. Either you got to be the person in the domestic violence to take your stance, or somebody who watching can step up to help and say, you know what, this is wrong. I'm going to call the proper authorities. I don't care how you feel about it. You can thank me later, but I just have to call to report this because this is wrong. Don't do let it stand by effect. You just think by watching. That's my business, and our community would like to do that. It's none of my business. I got nothing to do with it. People think, yes, if you see somebody be harmed and that person might probably lose their life and you sit down there to let it happen, then it means that you were part of that whole crime because you sat down and allowed it to happen. But when you step on and say, you know what, I watched this thing, I don't care whether when I call the cops or when I report this, she's gonna lie, say it never happened to her, but they will see some sign. If they're being emotionally abused, you can step on and say you are being emotionally abused. I just wanted to inform you so you can decide what to do. But you have to step out to the place to be able to help the person. Consider the direct or the indirect way to intervene. The direct way to intervene when you pick up the phone to call the police, the indirect way to intervene is to communicate with the person and give them awareness and information on how you think that they are being abused verbally, as Ross said, because some of the men can cost the women and some of the women not do it too. To the T. I don't even know how people can feel after the men cause them to sleep with them. I would just hate you right up front. I'm able to take no insult from me. He said, no, I would just let it hate you. So I don't know how some women will go through that after the man abused them to the core, then they still lay like open their left for him to sleep with them. It's just that important to me. But when some people are being abused, they don't realize all of those things because hey, me too, I was domestically abused before. So I know sometimes you just blinded that you don't know what's happening. Especially most of our people come to their country, they don't have nobody here, they don't know where to turn. Like the person we listened to day for yesterday, she has nowhere to go and she being abused. This man is threatening to kill her. And then we go and research behind the man. They make our guns on her Facebook page, sending our gun like this. So her life is in danger. It's an emergency case. But we cannot bring her on to talk anything because her life is being threatened, you know. And we I want to advise people with whole domestic violence. Most time when you people meet people on Facebook, be careful who you meet on Facebook. Liberian women, Liberian men, be careful who you meet on Facebook. They got demons on their Facebook here. Some of y'all, you're doing your whole relationship thing on Facebook. Some people not marrying all on their Facebook, and some of them going through hell. They cannot come and say it now because they're embarrassed because they met a person on Facebook. Always try to know somebody. Nobody says a crime to meet somebody on Facebook. Because some people have met people on Facebook and their relationship good. It just depends. You have to be very lucky for that to happen to you. But it's always good to try to know somebody before you get in a love relationship with them. And it's always good that when you get to know the person, even the first time for you to go and meet, make sure you have a standby because you don't even know who you're going to meet. And most times the things that they're telling you, or maybe the way they look, they don't even look that way. Because you know people can enhance their picture to be on Facebook. And then when you meet a person you don't want, then it comes to be a crime to then they start to get annoyed. But I like you, and then we be talking for months. Now you say you don't want me. Because the physical person, the picture you saw is not the person you're looking at really. It means that the picture was in here. So y'all be careful how you meet people on social media, Instagram or Snapchat, because these people you're meeting are not the people they say they are. They will tell you everything good about them, and then when you meet them, it's a whole different thing. You don't want to be caught up in that crap. A lot of people, and that's the cases that we're getting. Most of the people who having problems right now, they met these people on Facebook. And when they got to know the people, then nobody told them, say, oh, the relationship bad. They just look at them and watch them. And then when the Congo men say, when they share here the fan, then everybody scatter. Say, oh, well, you never knew. We thought you knew. But that person's life is already in danger. So you please be careful. Please be careful. Before you won't come in, before I come on the etiquette.
If you didn't meet a person on Facebook, like you said, meeting people on Facebook is dangerous. And with every relationship you meet and you have or you try to develop, even if you meet the person physically or in person or by way of introduction by someone, it's always good for you to take your time into your own investigative background on that person. Take some time. Don't rush into the relationship. Don't rush. The bottom line is that don't rush. Take your time, do your digging, dig. Go on. If they have a Facebook page, go to their friends. If their friends are available, go see the kind of people they're friends with. See if you know anybody on their friends list. Call that person and do investigation. Learn some things about them. Ask them questions. Whether they're comfortable with a question or not, draw up some questions. Ask them a lot of questions. Ask them about their life, their family lives, their children lives, their dog, their cat. Ask them about everything. Because some people, they got generational curse within their families. Some people got all kinds of things going on with within their immediate family that is affecting them down the line. So you want to investigate whoever you're meeting. You want to make sure you are investigating them. You want to make sure you are doing a proper background check on them. Like everything else we do in America, people have to do background check. Even when you go to go get a job, the people do a background check on you. It's the same way if you're trying to meet someone, if you're trying to get to know someone, if you want to be with someone, if that someone is interested in you or you are interested in that someone, it is on you as that person, as that individual, to do your background check on them. Have they been married before? Have they been divorced before? Why they divorced? If they got 3 children, are they paying their child support? Are they on the run for any crime? Do they, are they loving to men? Do they like men and women at the same time? Or what a reason they on the down low? Whatever. If they have a dog, what the name of the dog? What the name of the cat? What the cat can sleep in the house? Where the dog can sleep in the house? You want to know everything about them. You want to exhaust all your background check behind them and make sure they are clean. If they got credit issues, if they broke, if they're trying to tell someone else, some people just trying to find somewhere to go live. You know, they just want to live with somebody. You have to ask all those questions. Make sure you thoroughly exhaust all your questions you want to ask and look beyond them cuckoo like men say. Tick. Look behind them cuckoo. You can find no if their friends and friends list are private. Call your friends and say, oh, they such and so name. Have you heard it before? Do you know of anybody of this name? And so and do that somebody help you check because I tell you,
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of demons on the social media, a lot of crazy people, mentally ill people on social media,
Like one of the ones that watching us just now.
liars, cheaters, people who are dishonest, people who are just on here to use other people as a stepping stone, all kinds of people on Facebook. So you want to make sure that if you meet somebody on Facebook or any form of social media by yourself or by way of introduction, don't just take it at face value. You go ahead and you do what you have to
Do
do.
your background check.
You have to safeguard yourself.
Even if it take you up to 6 months to just get to find out who the person is, you need to go. And besides, look at what happened. The world is going crazy. A lot of stupid things happening. People killing people for no reason. It's even worse among Liberians because we went through a war situation. We see right on Facebook. Most of our friends and they act very crazy. I don't know whether you noticed that. The way they carry themselves, even on Facebook. The last time me and Vera were looking at one of our friend posts over and over almost 5 different times or 6 different times in 6 months. The man is writing crazy stuff. And we started wondering, but what really wrong with it? Because we met him on Facebook too. What really wrong with that man? So the man is actually not sound. The guy in the war have traumatized a lot of Liberians, but we put it on the back burner and say, oh, I already nothing wrong with me. But most of our friends are really going through it. They are already going through it. That's why when you meet people, you got to get to know them because some of them, one girl was telling me, say, the man would beat her and then he would just start crying. Oh, I don't even know why I hate you. I'm sorry. Oh, well, you just hit me. Now you're here and I hit me. How you know whether you hit me? That's some of the craziness that we're talking about because they don't even know what they're doing. Some of them depressed. They're going through a lot of depression and they have not checked it out and tried to get help. They just don't want to do that because our mentality, where we come from, is just that, oh, I'm all right, nothing wrong with me. I'm all right. But most of these people here are crazy people Be very careful who you meet on Facebook. Most of these people are crazy. They are demons. They are BM. Some of them trying to get your money. Because most of the girls, they say that when the men then approach you on Facebook, the first thing after the first 2 weeks, okay, you send me something. Right there, you know that's something wrong. No man will meet a woman after 2 weeks and start begging her for money. Then you know her intention straight up. So we want to say thanks to Ben Smith for watching, Jeanette D.F. Brown, Saki Poto Kolo Jr., Diana Curtis. Thank you for all your input. Fenice Marie-Claire Flemmer, Madia Relay. We thank you guys for watching. That's the people I see on the feed. Although more people watching, but that's the name. Once you make a comment, I can call your name. So we're gonna move on. Domestic violence is real. If you can't help the person, it means that you have failed. You need to step up, especially when you see domestic violence going on, you just don't say nothing. We don't want you to be with that mentality that, oh, I don't have nothing to do with it. You have something to do with it because it has to do with life. And if you're a Christian, you know that God don't like you to see wrong and acknowledge that it's wrong. When you don't do anything about it, it means that you have acknowledged that the wrong is right and you know that it's wrong. That's a sin before God. So you have to step in, but you have to, every case depends on the kind of case. I mean, it depends on personality or who going through it. Or let me just say, it depends on how you can react to things. Now you can take your time to not taking your time until the person die, or maybe until the person lost their arm or someone that teething them up. But you can take your time to also engage the person, and then you find out whether they will want you to move forward or not. And if you think it's a emergency matter, you can decide to call the cops. You can intervene another way. You in like bro, you can call the neighbor who watched and they go to the manhole and say you beating the guy getting out of the hole, or they put him out of the hole. Something you gotta do so you can do your part in society. So now we're moving on to manners and etiquette. We figure out that today we're gonna stay here at least for 30 minutes more. We figure out that we noticed me and Flo were discussing that manners and etiquette are very rare in our community. Most people don't have manners, they don't know etiquette. I know today because one of them came in back, oh, you're better than other people. No, we're just trying to give information here so people can learn. It's not a bad thing not to know something. At least if you listen to people who look into it, something we all learn here as we talk here, we speak to ourselves our way. So manner, it go hand in hand, manner and etiquette. But they're almost the same, but at the same time, they are different. Etiquette is a set of rules that is exterior, and manners is a set of rules that you express that is inner, is interior. It's an inner characteristic of yourself. So, but we notice some Facebook say, but how come you see all people weddings and people parties are being on live on Facebook, and people recording people's stuff on Facebook, and they go to people activities, or they go to people gigs and stuff, people parties, people wedding, people birthday, and they decide to record it and put it on Facebook. Did you ask the person permission to record it to put it on Facebook? And that's the reason why when we were having our masquerade party, we decided to tell everybody that we don't want nobody to record our masquerade party and put it on Facebook. Now, when you go to the party and you're sitting down there, and like some of our friends did, you can record yourself and the music playing in the background, but you cannot twist the camera to start recording other people that are in the party, because some people don't want to be recorded. This thing has gotten so sickening in the Liberian community. It's so sour that every time and people say, yeah, I watch everything on Facebook. Yeah, because the people record, the people wedding, people getting married, they got people, photographer and camera people recording their wedding. They did not ask you if they wanted to put it on Facebook. They were going to tell somebody, they were going to designate somebody to say, okay, you be recording for Facebook. But you go to the people party, they just get a camera passing upward in the person party. That is, you lack manners. You lack manners. You have no etiquette. Period. I will say it as it is, plain blank. And that's the reason why we came and we were saying that we don't want anybody to record our party on Facebook. We have one or two people that they recorded, but the camera was to them, and they said, "Oh yes, this is me. I'm here at the masquerade party for Lawani. We are having fun." It's better that way. The power you turn the camera and start showing everybody in the hall and just showing everybody, that is rude. You have no manners because the people never ask you to put it on camera. If the person was there and they were not supposed to be there, the people were supposed to be to work that day, and you put it on Facebook, and the employer saw them, and the funeral line said they were going to some kind of funeral, or maybe or they were sick, and now the employer go see them on Facebook. Because social media, anybody can watch it. Say, oh, the person called up for but not knowing that at this party you can cost that person their job. Where is the manners? You're educated people. Where you can come in?
Well, I mean, like everything in life, everything has an etiquette, you know. Everything has a set of rules that govern it, especially when it comes to activities, a set of rules, a set of just, implied actions that govern the things that we do. And Facebook Live is the new thing, where everybody just put everything out there. Now, for some people, some people don't have issues with it, but I know of a lot of people who don't even have a social media page, and they don't want to be on social media for no reason. For whatever reason, some people running away from child support. They not run away from one state to the other state. Nobody know what state they in. Then you go record into some occasion when you look, somebody else now find out and say, "Oh, I saw you on live on Facebook live to the person location." Then they detect. Now they now find out all of a sudden where that person location is. The bottom line is that we all need to respect each other. If you go to an occasion, you can do your life on yourself. I'm here to an occasion, I'm having fun. But like you said, the part where you will flip the camera around and flip it, you would do a what like
360.
say 360 panorama. You take it around the room to capture everybody in the room and what they're doing. I think that's why it's just absolutely wrong, because you did not ask those people permission. Those people didn't tell you that they wanted their faces to be seen on any kind of social media. They didn't tell you that they wanted to even be uh, 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 um seen at that party. So some people went there, they're cheating. You go tell your website, I'm going somewhere, when you know you can't girlfriend, when you know, then all of a sudden they see you on social media to some kind of party on Facebook Live. It has happened before.
Yeah.
It has happened before, and it has caused people a lot of problem. That's the reason why nowadays we found out that when we inviting people to things, they ask you, "Oh, you're gonna put it on Facebook." You got to tell them, no, it's not going to be on Facebook, and you got to guarantee them that it's not going to be on Facebook. Like when we were doing the masquerade, a lot of people, and I asked Grace, I said, "But why they scared of Facebook or what? What's going on?" But people were concerned. Is they think,
Their privacy, bro.
yeah,
That's the privacy.
yeah, even before we decided to do it in person, when we were going to do it on Zoom, people told us that if it's going to be on Zoom, it will only be on Zoom. I think the first flyer that we sent out, and we stated that on there, that it wasn't going to be recorded, it wasn't going to be live
Facebook Live.
because of people privacy, due to privacy issue. A lot of people were concerned. Oh no, I don't want to be seen on Facebook. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And that is the reason why we said that, please, if you come, if you want to do a live, let that camera be faced to only you yourself. Don't flip it around. Don't do a 360, because people in there just didn't want to be seen on Facebook. They just didn't want to be seen online. Now everybody got their own reasons why they wouldn't want to be seen on a social media platform. But like you said, it's respect.
Yeah, and you who doing the recording is lack of manners.
Yeah, it's respect for the occasion, it's respect for the person who invited you, it's respect for the guest, and it's just plain no respect. Don't do it. Flip it to yourself and enjoy yourself and dance yourself. I seen other people do that. Their camera will just be on themselves. They will be enjoying fun. They don't flip it around. But for those who flip things around, yeah, they gotta reconsider. It is not good etiquette. Everything we do in life has some sort of etiquette. Like you and myself were talking earlier today. If you went to a dinner party and somebody invited you, and everybody is sitting at the table, and your car, everything, the table is set with everything, spoon, knives, and fork, and all of a sudden, when dinner is served, you decide to use your fingers to eat because you feel that you're more comfortable with your hand, so you're not going to eat with spoon. Oh, me, oh, I will just eat with my finger. Me, I'm going to eat with spoon and fork. I will just that's wrong. That's poor manners. It's not good etiquette for the occasion. You have to follow the rules of the education of the occasion. You have to follow the etiquette of the occasion. If you feel that you cannot follow the etiquette of a particular occasion, then just
Yeah, you have to follow the etiquette. You also have to have manners. Etiquette is a code of polite conduct. If you practice proper etiquette, you are less likely to offend or annoy anybody, because everybody in our hall did not give you the right or did not agree for you to record. And besides, the person who having the activity did not also tell you to be the recorder of that activity, except the person told you. It means that the guests were informed that they're going to be on Facebook live recording. Then you start to record the whole play. But the power you just to the camera and start passing it on, everybody don't like that. They don't want to be seen like that. Although most people just like to be seen, but it's not everybody got your behavior. So when you're doing it, do it to yourself. That's proper etiquette. And then you will not offend anybody, and you may even charm people for not even doing that, because the people will feel that what happened to back in the day when we used to go to party and just be private, that the people in the party hall just have their fun and everybody else in the world don't have to see it on Facebook.
But let
So
me something I think I told you about it. So there was an occasion, and all of a sudden I was flipping on Facebook. I went to that occasion, and I was flipping. I don't know. I think when you're friends with other people and somebody post something and they tag that friend. Sometimes you will be privileged to see whatever they posted based on the person that they tag. So there's a video that show up in the tag, the person they tag, and I said, "Oh, I was at the occasion. Let me listen." I didn't know there was a live done. And I'm listening to the live, and the person who's doing the live is talking. Oh, all the people they calling them up. They brought gifts there. What a gift they brought. You mean they check in with their arms swinging? But later did she know that she walked into that occasion late? She didn't realize that people had already given whatever they had to give to that person. You walk into the occasion late. You came to do live, then you on the live talking. Oh, they just coming with their arms swinging, they calling them, they just coming with their arms swinging. And I told you about that thing. I said,
yeah, and then they got the people on the stage. They start to look bad. You recording it, and they put a jacking with their arm
they
swinging.
came
What
with that.
is the manners here?
I was like, damn, but she came in late. How she know people didn't bring gift, or how she know what kind of gift they brought? And she just on the live behind the camera talking about, they're calling now, but they checking with their arm and swinging with a gift. That all those things that you want to evolve, and you want to avoid.
Yeah.
It's just poor manners.
So we'll be closing very soon. Now they say, what are the most important manners, especially on social media? Be cooperative, even in social media or in real life. Be cooperative. Be helpful. Don't be bossy, and the most of all, respect other people's privacy. The power you go into that thing and you record the people, you did not respect their privacy, because everybody did not tell you that they wanted to be on that recording. So you should be recording yourself. I will repeat, except the person who having that occasion designated you that you supposed to be doing Facebook Live, mean that the people who came in the hall, they told them that they were going to be on Facebook Live and stuff, then you have the right to do it. Just stop recording occasions that people, the reason why we brought it to here, because people were just telling us all the time, our party, oh, I don't want to be on Facebook Live. Oh. You're having even with the something I've said, even with the virtual, they were refusing for it to be on Facebook Live, because people have different reasons. Some people are sycophants. They don't want their bosses then to see them on Facebook Live with certain people, because they already finished gossiping about you like hell. So they don't want their friends to see them hanging out with you. So they don't want to be on Facebook Live. Some people, they're circle friends with other people who don't like you. So therefore they have to pretend not to like you so that they don't want to be seen on that live. Some people just don't want to be seen. Some people, they cheat us, they carry their other girlfriend there, they're in a party, they don't want you to record it. Whether they're to a wedding, they don't want to be honest. So you're stop, because you're stopping people now from going to activity because all their Facebook live. Record yourself. That's the best thing to do. The people give them their privacy. Fred, you can say your closing statement so we can go there.
Yeah, I mean, that is it. We all just must learn to respect each other. We all must learn to, just do what is right. We all have sense, though. I don't think those people who are be doing those things don't have sense. We all have, and we all know better. And the bottom line is, when you know better, you got to do better. Don't go to people private occasions recording and doing things you have no business or they didn't authorize you to do, because other people at that occasion don't want to be seen for whatever reason that is best known to them. When it comes to domestic violence, if you're in a domestic violence relationship, you don't know the number, all you have to do is go on the internet, go on Google, Google the hotline number. You call it, it will reroute you to whatever help that is in your state. Domestic violence is not only when somebody hits you. Domestic violence comes in many forms. So we must all open our eyes and be aware. If you find yourself in such situations, seek help.
And if you're going through domestic violence, make sure you write the number down, because when in time of emergency, you will not be able to Google. So now, if you don't write the number down, go Google tonight. Write on the number down, let it be safe in your phone as another thing that you can just go to it, just in case of anything, and call when you're going through that. And you can also call 911 if your life is threatening. If somebody had threatened your life and you have fear for your life, you can always dial 911 and report it, and then the police will be there right away. But you don't have to stay in a situation and being abused, because let me tell you, you got one life to live. When you transition to the other side, you don't know how it will look like. You don't know whether you will be the same person or you will have the same name. None of that. Nobody went there and came back and told her anything. So just to be safe on this side, and have a little, especially people with children, think about your kids. They don't deserve none of that, because if you're being abused, they too they're being exposed to that, and it's not good. It causes trauma in their own lives, and they cannot when they start to grow up, it start to bother them because of all the things that you went through. So you got to think both ways, and just exhibit a little bit of manners and etiquette. I mean, everybody should know that once you or sixth grader or less than that, because even some people, they came from home that they never even went to school, but they taught them basic life, things to do in basic things to do in life. That you just have to respect other people's privacy, and stop recording people parties and stuff, and recording other people just sitting there. And sometimes you can see on the recording that some people can be pissed when they think come to them, can they feel that kind of way because they don't want to be on that. Respect people's privacy and their space. That's just the right thing to do. This is Split Talk, the Ninth Generation. Would like to say thank you for watching. We are here every Sunday at 7 p.m. Invite your friends, and tag somebody to come in and watch, because we give a lot of real life issues, information on here, things that we already know or we have researched, and we try to share with you guys. We interact with you guys. Have the blessed rest of your week. God bless you, and let your week count. Let it count. Bye bye.